What's up, guys? Raziel here, hungover. We had quite an interesting stream last night, didn't we? 8-hour stream leading up to the live letter, the first section of the live letter of patch 4.3. And as I promised, I said I would get the translation and do a video about it. And, despite all the technical difficulties we had last night with the stream, I was going to get this video done before I nuke the shit out of this PC and start it from scratch. New Windows time. But anyway, let's get into what we learned in Final Fantasy XIV's live letter for patch 4.3.
I am Raziel.
Alright guys, I've had a cup of coffee and I'm ready to get into this. So, what did we learn last night from the first part 1 of the live letter for Final Fantasy XIV 4.3? Well, to start off, there's a lot of stuff that I thought was pretty exciting. There was some stuff I didn't really give a shit about. And there was one particular item which I think is going to get some pretty heavy backlash from the community, and I highly expect it to change soon after it comes out. But we'll get there when we get there. The first thing, of course, there will be new main storyline quests in 4.3, including more side quests for the Four Lords chain. But there's also going to be a new trial. Excuse me. There's going to be a new trial. However, the trial has nothing to do with the Four Lords, as a lot of people assumed it would. So, we'll get to the trial, more information on the trial when we get there. However, Yoshi P did say that he thinks people will be really surprised and really immersed in this, in the new main storyline quest is coming in 4.3. So, I'm excited. I thought the cliffhanger that 4.2 left us on was pretty... leaves, you want to see what happens next. So I'm excited that, they've really put a lot of work into the 4.3 main storyline quests. Also, there's going to be new Beast Tribe quests, and there's going to be some that are focused around crafting and gathering, which is something that hasn't been seen yet in this expansion. It's all been focused around Disciples of War and Magic. So it's good that the people that are really into crafting and gathering we'll have some quite a bit of new content to do with the Beast Tribe quests. Also, the Doman Enclave reconstruction effort will start in patch 4.3. So there'll be quite a few quests and things to do in rebuilding Doma. Spoiler if you're not there yet. After you get Doma Castle back, you need to rebuild it. So the Doman Enclave reconstruction will be a huge part of patch 4.3. There's going to be new squadron dungeons added, but the next thing, there's going to be one 4-man dungeon added, the Swallow's Compass, which is the tomb, as far as I can tell from the translation, the tomb of a samurai. More specifically, they make references to Cyan in Final Fantasy VI, but we will see what happens with that. The next big thing, and this is something people were really waiting on, is the Deep Dungeon 2. The next section of Final Fantasy XIV's Deep Dungeon, which is in no way affiliated with the original. So it's not in Quarry Mill, it's none of that. It is the giant Jenga tower in the Ruby Sea that has been in there since Stormblood's launch, and we haven't been able to do anything with it, and now that is the next Deep Dungeon. It says it scales only up to floor 100. You can't go higher than floor 100. In Deep Dungeon you can go to 200. Whether or not they'll add more floors later is yet to be seen. But Yoshi P said it is drastically different than how Deep Dungeon worked in Final Fantasy Heavensward. So in Stormblood it is 100 floors. It'll be extremely challenging. You can go in there solo or with a 4-man group, though. Floors 31 and above are designed for challenging hardcore content. And there's going to be what's called Magitech Grand Summoning in there. so you can summon your own primals in there or something to that effect. We'll get more information about it in the next live letter. So that really seems interesting to me. 4-man content that is hardcore, and it's going to add all kinds of new elements that haven't been seen in Deep Dungeon before. There's going to be a variety of objectives, a variety of play styles incorporated into how the new Deep Dungeon will work, and it's designed for characters level 61 and above. So it is going to be the new way, I think, to optimally level a sub-job. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see what the Deep Dungeon is. You know, having in the last few streams I did in the last couple weeks been leveling up my Black Mage. It's been monotonous at times, you know, dungeon grinding, doing the hunts, going and doing the Beast Tribe quest for XP. It'll be really cool to do another Deep Dungeon for sub-jobs. They're also planning on introducing high difficulty game content that we can challenge by 4 players. Sort of like how in the original Deep Dungeon, 4s 180 and above were Palace of the Dead, were really difficult. Not really difficult, but they were way more difficult. Not the average player was doing that kind of stuff. Now on to the 8-man raid. There is one new trial coming in 4.3. However, they are keeping it secret. It has nothing to do with the 4 lords. They are not giving us the name, and in the 4.3 trailer, which is going to be out in a few weeks, they're not going to show anything about it. So it's going to be completely new. As we all know, there is no PTR, stuff like that, so data mining really isn't a thing in Final Fantasy XIV. So we'll see. We'll see what the new trial is. It's going to have a normal and an extreme mode, as always. So I'm excited to see what it is. Hopefully it'll be something really fun and have some new mechanics to it. They did say the next Ultimate is coming, but it's not in 4.3, it's in 4.31, which will probably be within 3 to 4 weeks after 4.3 arrives. And it is Ultima Weapon. So we're getting an Ultimate version of Ultima Weapon. I know you hardcore fans out there are really going to enjoy it. It's good. They said it's going to be a shorter fight than the Binding Coil of Bahamut Ultimate that's currently in the game. But they had a lot of little pokes and prods in the live letter about it, you know, saying that will we get stopped before we actually get to Ultima Weapon for those people doing that content. There will be great items to glamour in if you complete it. Some great vanity items, so that's really cool. I'm really excited to see what comes of that. But again, that's in 4.31, not 4.3 directly. Next, they talked about there's going to be new gameplay elements in Eureka, but again, and an entire new continent area in Eureka. They showed us some screenshots of, and I don't have them on hand right now. This video is really off the cuff, but they showed some screenshots. It's a very snowy area. So they're adding an entire new zone in Eureka, but that is not coming until 4.35. So I'm guessing probably 5 to 6, tops 8 weeks after 4.3 comes out that we'll see that. Could be earlier, could be later. Another thing to know, I thought that 4.3 was going to come in May, but it has been confirmed the release date for 4.3 is actually going to be May 22nd. So a little longer than I thought it was going to be, but by just about a week. So no big deal. Yeah, Eureka's getting some new gameplay elements, new notorious monster ideas, you know, such as turn-ins quests and not just fight a boss in the notorious monster train. So they're definitely going direction of trying to make the new Eureka more engaging. They will also get more details of what they're changing to current Eureka in that patch in the next live letter, part 2 of this live letter when it comes out, which should be in a couple weeks. The next section is the next 24-man raid confirmed. Return to Ivalice Part 2 with the Ridorana Lighthouse section. And they're talking, and they will be talking about in the future, allowing having side stories for gatherers and crafters in all the 24-man raids from here on out, which I think is going to be fantastic for crafters and gatherers. I'm going to get more into 24-man raid because it looks like this one's going to be more focused on the Final Fantasy XII lore, but it will have, I'm sure, Final Fantasy Tactics lore in there as well. Hopefully it's a good mix, like the original 24-man was. It was a good mix of 12 and Tactics callbacks, and I hope they do the same with this one as Tactics. As you well know, it was my favorite game, Final Fantasy game. And I'm going to get more into it. There's something about the 24-man raid they revealed which pissed me off, and it's very controversial and is blowing up Final Fantasy's message boards and the Final Fantasy Reddit right now. But I'll get into that in a second. They are making changes to PvP, mainly frontline daily campaign rotation. The user interface, the HUD for the feast, is being completely overhauled, and it's going to show buffs and debuffs. And they're revising the Crystal Tower maps. I'm not a huge PvPer in this game, so a lot of that doesn't affect me. There's going to be a new custom deliveries client for all crafting classes, which is great, and it won't be in Makote, which they said right out of the gate. So it's like, well, what's it going to be then? We will see. Okay, next, guest books added to housing, so you can leave notes, likes, dislikes on people's houses, leave friendly messages, incoming a message to tell me to go fuck myself on my house. But anyway, a guest book for housing, and you can do posts on there and that type of thing. The big thing here, and they didn't get into detail, and I imagine they'll give us some more detail in the next live letter, and this was what I was waiting for, though. It's confirmed. Dark Knights, Samurais, and Astrologians are all getting huge revamps, changes in 4.3. They say the changes are all done. They're currently in debugging and testing mode for those changes. So I'm really, really excited to see what those are. They are all needed on all 3 of those classes. So yeah, I'm bringing that shit on, man. I am pumped. Let's see what Dark and Sam and Astrologian have to offer. And I'm excited to see those patch notes and hopefully get some more details in the next live letter about those changes. But maybe not. Maybe they won't say anything about them in the next. But we do know it's confirmed 100%. Dark Knight, Sam, and Astrologian are the target for balance changes. And it's not just, from how they made it sound, it's not just little tweaks. It's pretty significant overall changes to those jobs, which is needed. Going on, cross-realm link shells. So if you're on the data center, you can do a 64 up to a limit of 64 player link shell across anyone in your data center or anything. However, you can't be in a link shell by yourself, and it'll close after a short period of time if you're the only one in the link shell. They're doing 64 players to try and test it out, see how it works, and if it's well received, they will increase the limit in 4.35 probably. Yeah, so cross-server link shells getting us one step closer, in my opinion, to data centers no longer being separate, but we'll see if that ever happens. The next thing, which they spent quite a bit of time about, and it kind of lost my interest because I just fucking don't give a shit about this kind of stuff, is they're adding a Final Fantasy companion app, and there's going to be updates to it. There's going to be a paid version, of course, and a free version. So whatever gets more revenue to Final Fantasy XIV, okay. You know, if it's going to mean content comes out bigger, faster, and better. They did say they hired even more people to work on Final Fantasy XIV recently, so I'm guessing this is a way to pay their salaries. Though, I don't see myself ever owning the premium version. With the free version, you can chat with your friends list, with your FC. They have a calendar. You can schedule events, raids, whatnot. Inventory management, market board access. Though the premium version, you get an extra retainer and increase the retainer limit to 10. I don't know who would need 10 fucking retainers. I have 3 and that's like plenty. But you get another retainer and increase the retainer limit. So realistically, if you've got the premium app, you're only paying $2.50 roughly, because the other $2.50 is what you would pay per month anyway to have an extra retainer. So yeah, this is, you know, you get with the premium, you get saddlebag management. Saddlebag capacity is doubled, so you get twice as much space in your saddlebag. I don't need that much space, and you get login bonuses. But you know, you also, though, in the free version get another preferred Ethernet teleport, so another free place to teleport. just with the free version. So what's probably what I'm going to do, and what most people are going to do, I imagine, is download, get the free version, get their, go in the game and get their free teleportation point, and then they're never going to open the app again. That's what I'm going to do. But I can definitely see how this is more geared towards their Japanese player base, considering the fact that a lot of players that play Final Fantasy XIV in Japan play on PS4 and don't use things like Discord and stuff like that. So this is a very good Discord-esque tool for them to use. It just definitely seems geared to the Japanese player base to me. What is next? This is they're adding new performance actions. So like the piano and the harp and all that stuff that you can play. They're adding better 5 new animations to it and new notes, new note sounds to it. Doesn't really affect me. I don't use that part of the game, but that's cool for people who love the performance actions in Final Fantasy XIV. Also, items now put in the glamour chest can be reclaimed. They are not lost forever, so you can take them back out. Squadrons can use your glamour dresser, and the glamour plates are saved to gear sets. So all those things you can pull back out of the glamour chest, which is really cool. They didn't say anything about adding. They haven't said anything new. They have said things in the past, but they didn't say anything new about adding the glamour dresser, as far as I can tell from the translations. Adding one to your personal private chambers or your house, things like that. But I'm sure it's coming relatively soon, before the end of this expansion for sure. There's a normal raid roulette. Finally, I've been asking for it for a long time. A roulette for doing normal mode raids is here to add to your roulette table. So do a daily raid now. Get more mendacity, get more creation tomes, probably crack clusters, things like that. Materia, awesome. Awesome, very much needed. Now here is the controversial change, and the one that I personally am fucking upset about. I think it's the stupidest idea ever. I don't know why they're doing it. I think it brings toxicity into the community. I mean, come on, Square, haven't you seen? I just made a fucking video about how your community is so cool, and this is going to damage it. Which is why I'm convinced that this change is not going to last. I think by 4.35 they will revert it, because they're going to get so much flack, so much controversy, and so much hate over it, because there's no reason for this. But they're changing the 24-man raid loot system to greed only. So what that means is, let's say you go in on your paladin to get paladin gear in the new 24-man raid. And now, in the past, if a piece of tank gear dropped, as the only tank, you were guaranteed to get it in your group, in your alliance. You were guaranteed to get that piece. Because you're already playing against RNG that a tank piece would even drop in the first place. Same is true for DPS, for healers. And now, let's say your tank piece drops, and this jackass bard rolls greed on it and wins. And he may not even have a tank class. He may not even have a tank sub job. And so that's going to force you to grind your leather ass out on these 24-man raids way longer than you have to. I think it's really, 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 really fucking stupid. This change is stupid, and it's going to blow up in their face. Square, this is a dumb decision. You're idiots for making this decision. I told you, I call it out when Square makes mistakes, and this is a mistake. This is going to cause so many problems. And granted, 24-man raids are mostly for catch-up gear. People that are doing the most highest-end Savage Raid content aren't going into the 24-man raids for gear upgrades. However, a lot of them do go in there for glamour, and my opinion is, for example, if you want a piece of armor on your ninja for glamour or for upgrade, on your samurai, on your bard, on your white mage, on your astrologian, on your dark knight, whatever, then go into that raid as that class. Play that role to get that gear. That's very, very simple concept. I don't know why they're suddenly forcing a change on this. Now Joe Smo Jackass with his, he's a level 70, level 70 ninja. And he's taken, and he has, a level 60 or level 70 white mage that he never plays. And now he's taking healing gear away from the white mages and the astrologians, and he's taking tank gear from the tanks, and he's taking, just everything. It reminds me of the World of Warcraft Hunter. Oh, a 2-man weapon, I roll need. I roll need on everything. Now it's just greed, so it's going to really slog down the grind of the 24-man raid, so the 24-man raid better be fucking good. But honestly, I don't see these changes lasting. that's going to get reverted so quick because, I mean, even now, we're, what, 5, let's see. Yeah, 5.5 weeks away from patch 4.3, and Reddit and the forums is already blowing up, and they're getting so much hate for it already. And Square's pretty good about, you know, whoa, that was a bad choice. Let's change it. So I honestly don't think this is going to last. I think it's going to make it through 4.3, 4.31, but I think by 4.35 they're going to revert it because they're going to realize how fucking stupid and toxic and cancerous this will be to their game to keep this change in. So, yeah, that's what I think about that. I think it's horse shit, penguin shit, ostrich shit, what have you. It's a bad change, and I don't think it's going to last. But anyway, guys, what do you guys think about the announced changes so far coming in 4.3? I mean, I'm really excited about Deep Dungeon. I'm really excited about the Dark Sam Astrologian changes. Mostly Dark and Sam. I don't really play healer. And I'm really, really excited to do the new trial and the 24-man raid. I'm excited to do the raid for the lore and the content, but I'm not excited about the horse shit thing they you know, loot change they did. And it's not going to last. Mark my words, it's going to fucking die. But anyway, guys, what did you think? It was really fun doing an 8-hour-long stream last night with you guys. Thanks for coming by and watching Live Letter with me. It was a very, very drunken stream. I'm kind of thinking about possibly doing like highlights from my streams and putting them up as, you know, just fluff on my YouTube channel for anyone who gives a shit about that. You may not, you probably don't, but whatever. Follow me on Twitter and on Twitch. You can, all the information's here on my YouTube page. So you know when I go live, things like that. And I usually post a video here on my channel as well. So if you're new to the channel and you liked it, hit that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell because YouTube's fucking dumb and doesn't do it automatically. It doesn't give you the choice to do it automatically when you subscribe. But so you know when new content of mine comes out. Thanks everyone so much for the awesome support I've been getting over the last few months. And as always, my friends, keep it real. Jesus, now I gotta format this computer. Fuck my butt.